BeamNG's graphics are weird. Sometimes you're driving the right car in the right place at the right time, and it looks incredible. And sometimes it looks absolutely horrendous. Now there's many reasons why this happens, but in general it comes down to the fact that some parts of BeamNG's graphics have been improved over the years, such as PBR materials, while others have been the exact same since it was launched over 10 years ago. And one of these things is the sky. In fact, you could argue that it has actually become worse over the years. Take a look at these before and after shots from my video on BeamNG 0.4. Why does it look so sad now? But okay, BeamNG isn't a flight simulator, at least officially. So why should you care about how the sky looks? Well, maybe, just maybe, because it takes up a whole third of your screen. And that's just while driving. When you're taking photos, especially from low angles, the sky can take up over half of your screen, which, fun fact, is why I always edit it for my YouTube thumbnails. But that changes today. This is the volumetric clouds mod for BeamNG. And in this video, I'll show you all of its features, explain how it works, test the performance impact, and tell you where to get it. But before that, what is it actually? This is the first graphics mod for BeamNG that actually adds a new rendering method to the game. Yes, there are other graphics mods for BeamNG, such as Reshade and the CK graphics mod, which I actually made a video on a while ago, but the thing is that they don't add any new graphical elements to the game. The CK graphics mod increases the range of the vanilla BeamNG settings, such as the level of detail and shadow resolution, while Reshade tweaks some of the post-processing effects like bloom and ambient occlusion. Plus, Reshade also comes with the benefit of making your game look like absolute dog shit. No, but seriously, I've never seen Reshade actually look good, or at least better than the vanilla game. But anyways, back to the sky. This mod adds volumetric clouds through a rendering technique called ray marching. But I'll properly explain how it works later on. What you need to know right now is that these clouds are three-dimensional, just like the ones in Microsoft Flight Simulator and Red Dead Redemption 2. They also dynamically react to light, meaning they will look different based on the time of day. And finally, the way they form, morph... Wait, I just realized morph is form read backwards, what the fuck? Move and disappear feels very natural and realistic. Plus, they're fluffy. And man, just take a look at these before and after shots. This honestly looks incredible. Now, unlike the CK graphics mod, there is no custom user interface to control the volumetric clouds mod. For now, the only things you can control are the cloud density and the cloud speed. And the cool thing is that you do this through the vanilla BeamNG interface, which makes this mod feel very official. Now, all of this is cool and everything, but you may be wondering how it affects the frame rate. Later, I'll be showing you the performance impact of the volumetric clouds mod on both my 4090 system and my 4070 system, but before that, let me quickly show you how this mod works. By the way, if you're liking this video and want to see more interesting BeamNG content that isn't car crashes and whatever this is, please subscribe. The clouds are generated by multiple layers of 3D textures, such as this one, which come from a custom program written by the mod's creator. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, this mod was made by one guy. Anyways, since BeamNG can't properly read 3D textures, they get laid out flat on what is called an atlas map, which then makes them ready to be rendered. As I mentioned previously, the clouds are rendered through a technique called ray marching. Basically, every pixel on your screen sends out a virtual ray into the world that is marched through the atmosphere. And that way, it accumulates cloud data to then be processed and rendered onto your screen. I have no idea what I just said, but by far the most impressive part is that a good chunk of the code the mod's creator had to work with is completely undocumented. In fact, he told me that he had to literally open the BeamNG.exe file with Notepad++ and search the compiled binary to find code comments. He also used some of the research papers on cloud rendering from AAA titles, such as Horizon Zero Dawn and Red Dead Redemption 2, which is so sick. Now, this is all very impressive, but how does it affect performance? To test this, I'm going to check how the game runs with and without the mod on both my 4090 PC as well as my more attainable 4070 Super PC. Starting with my 4090 system, we're in West Coast USA using the Ultra Graphics preset at 4K, and the performance impact is inexistent. Most likely, we're bottlenecked, and in fact, after testing it on a slightly easier to run map, like Italy, and a much easier to run map, like Grid's More Pure, we can notice a trend. The more performance intensive the map, the smaller the impact volumetric clouds have on the frame rate. I also ran the test using the unstable Vulkan API, and as expected, we gained quite a bit of performance. Though, as for the other maps, the performance difference in Italy is negligible, while on Grid's More Pure, we're actually getting slightly lower frame rates. Just out of curiosity, I also ran the test using my usual BeamNG settings, which is basically everything maxed out, plus the CK graphics mod, with these options enabled, and the results were pretty much the same. Little to no difference on the performance intensive maps, while on Grid's More Pure, there is still a big drop in performance. Even switching to Vulkan gave out the same results again, with a huge jump on West Coast, little to no change on Italy, and slightly worse performance on Grid. This was actually very interesting, because in my 4090 video, I didn't test the Vulkan gains on easier to run maps, which, as it turns out, don't really benefit from the new API, at least for now. As for my 4070 Super system, I ran the same exact test as the 4090, which is West Coast with ultra settings in 4K, and I have to say, the results surprised me. Here, we're getting around a 15% drop in frames, which is to be expected. But when we look at Italy, which is slightly easier to run compared to West Coast, we get basically the same performance, which leads me to believe that we're bottlenecked. But the weird stuff happens when you switch to Vulkan. The performance impact of the clouds stays the same, but the overall frame rates are lower, even without the mod. Just to make sure, I also ran the test in 1440p, and while we are getting higher frame rates on Italy compared to West Coast now, the switch to Vulkan is still disappointing. So, as it turns out, Vulkan may or may not improve performance on your machine, be it with or without mods. As for what GPU I recommend for running volumetric clouds alongside high or ultra settings, I would stick to at least a 4080 for 4K, a 4070 for 1440p, and as for 1080, I don't really know for sure, but I think you'll probably be good with a 4060 Ti. So now, we've looked at what this mod does, how it works, and its impact on performance. But where can you actually get it? This mod is currently in early access, and you need to pay around $5 to try it out for yourself. At least until it officially comes out as a free mod. Now, before you punch a hole through your screen, there is also a free alternative to this mod that I'll show you very soon. But before that, I just wanted to say that I've never once considered buying paid mods, apart from this one. I believe this is truly a one-of-a-kind mod, and I want to support the guy who's developing it. So if you too have an extra $5 and want to try this mod for yourself, I've linked the creator's Patreon in the description. And finally, as I promised, here's the free alternative, the CK Dynamic Skybox mod. Now, while it doesn't add 3-dimensional volumetric clouds, it does change the appearance of the sky by enabling the use of custom skyboxes. And while sometimes it does look kinda weird because of the fog, there are moments in which it manages to look stunning. So if it tickles your fancy, I'll also leave this one in the description. Honestly though, I think volumetric clouds are the way forward. So devs, please